So what do you want to talk about today? Some short-term rental money hacks and kind of how you can turn it into a side hustle?
Yeah, so as you know, we're both in the short-term rental industry, and I kind of divested a little bit to rebuild in Florida. Basically, and I think just in case your audience is new, so they don't know this, but my management team kind of didn't hold up very well without me, which is my fault and my problem, and I have to deal with it. But knowing that that's going to be the thing that happens if you don't build up a super tight system or have help. That's the other thing. You just have to deal with it and adjust course as you can. So I just ended up well, some of it was I sold some buildings, so there was that. There was 6 units of that, and then the other part of it was like I said, half of my management team kind of disappeared on me, and what was left was kind of not working out so great. So I kind of had somebody manage what I have now, very on a very small scale, clear my plate, and then I'll rebuild because it's not that hard to do. It's just doing things a little bit better. So I'm almost to this thing right here. Hold on, I don't want to play it noisy, but okay. So um, well we so if it's just short-term rental people and they're kind of like, if this was a new sort of customer, right? Let's say we were talking to people that were like, I want to get into Airbnb, but I don't have 10 grand to dump into first, last, and security and a bunch of furniture and some software like Price Labs and um, smart B&B and some of the essentials. And I want to get started with Airbnb. Well, you could conceivably get started with not even having any of those. Um, what people don't all know is like, okay, just your Airbnb account itself could become a source of income just through affiliate links because they have on the web. Oops. So Google decided to start listening to me and ask me what my question ask me what I was asking for. So anyway, um, so there's the process of like actually just getting in and creating your account and using it, and then what I had come up with was just this whole like list of steps where you could conceivably not necessarily have to have an Airbnb account, although that's where the most of the money is actually in being a host. But if say you were like a cleaner or Uber driver, photographer, or just somebody who traveled a lot but didn't necessarily have the wherewithal to just drop that at first to get familiar with the system and use it in a way that you could still do something with. It probably does a little bit more good to people that were maybe influencers for some of this kind of stuff, but that's not necessarily mean that you couldn't do it. It just means that you would just have a little bit more traffic. But the first step would obviously be a brand new person coming in and just creating their Airbnb account. Um, that way you could actually, if someone else was to say, because as well as I do, they give referrals, right? It's like, for example, if I was just a user, but I found somebody that was going to be a host, or if I was a host and somebody else was going to be a host, there's an affiliate commission that they give you for. The last I checked, I mean, it got up there. I don't know what happened since what do you call it, when they went public, what happened to the host referral fee, but it goes anywhere from 300 to, I don't know, at one point, I think it was like 600, something like that.
Yeah, I saw 700 at one point, and it really changed with the pandemic. It seems like before, I think it was right before the pandemic, it was at 700. And once it hit and they were starting to make cuts and trying to save expenses, it went back down to 3, if not at all, there.
Well, I think it still exists if you're a super host.
I think it's back to 3. I think that's
Yeah, yeah. I know that. I think I want to say that at one point it was like 640 that I saw. But again, when they did their thing, it dropped. So it'd be nice if VBRO actually did something like that. They probably get a lot more people jumping on that train. But like I said, everybody's got their business model. So
What percentage
um,
of people do you see doing Airbnb as far as clients versus VRBO? Like, what was your average ratio for that?
So what I was seeing with Airbnb was more like smaller places, like studios, the one beds. I mean, they got kind of saturation in those markets. That's why I wouldn't even, you know, the pros and cons, right? If you have a smaller place, it's less prone to be a party place, right? It's not that big. You're not gonna attract the party crowd, right? I mean, you might get some kids that want to just, hang out with their friends a little bit, but you're not like it's not going to be overcrowded with like 20, 30 people because it's a
Yeah.
small place. So it's not going to attract that generally. Um, the better thing about twos and three bedrooms is obviously you can squeeze more heads in beds and make more money with it. Obviously, pay more, get more money, income from it, but then you attract the party crowd. So you definitely got to have your technologies. Sometimes a full Vivint outfit with alarm systems and the camera, the doorbell camera, or you can cobble together a bunch of things like noise aware and party. What's that one called? Party crasher or something. It's basically counts the number of Wi-Fi people on the Wi-Fi. So like you don't have to have cameras inside, but if you see all these people attached to your Wi-Fi, that's kind of a sign. And then
Big time. That's huge. I've never heard of Party Crasher. That's cool.
yeah, party crashers like they have that. Then they actually have special and they cost a lot though. They have special smoke detectors that can detect weed and stuff like that. So like for higher end properties, you could probably afford that if it was your property to keep out the undesirables and the parties and all that kind of stuff. But um, back to VBRO, they tend to be more vacate because it was an older crowd. Like VBRO was around before Airbnb, way
Yeah.
before actually. So they would attract the older, more established people, and they're used to vacation rentals, meaning urban does not necessarily mean a vacation rental. Like Airbnb, like oh, we can get a place
Weird
in New
market
York.
for VRBO.
What's
The,
that?
the city is like a different market for VRBO than what they were expecting when they launched.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were always vacation rentals and down by the shore or just places where it attracted a lot of tourists, but houses, it was most like, it wasn't necessarily smaller apartments. So and it's an older sort of customer too. So they're used to a different sort of vibe, lifestyle, amenities, generally acted better. Now, when they combined with HomeAway, I don't know if that really played out the same. Like I think HomeAway might have tilted that a little younger, because hotels, like I said, hotels.com is the same as Airbnb. They were just people just looking for hotel substitutes. So it's kind of just quick last minute, kind of find me something now. And that's normally the habits of a younger customer, last minute customer, right? VBRO was people who would plan months ahead, half a year ahead to do their vacations. Definitely a different kind of customer, normally attracted to bigger places, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, bigger,
Sure.
something quiet, something by the shore. That's the type of customer that we always want, but they're not attracted to urban, overcrowded, small little spots. So you have to figure out, I guess, in your business model, what kind of customer you want. And we always say we like the older customers, but if we don't have the location that they desire for the family units, you know what I mean? And I say older, I mean people with families too. Like, they want to bring, you know, with me, it would be 8 people at least because I got 6 kids. So
Sure.
that that's the customer you want to appeal to. You're not going to appeal to them with a tiny little 2 bedroom, barely 2 bedroom in Philly, no matter what. It's still better than an apartment. I mean, I'm sorry, a couple of hotel rooms stuck together, but it's almost like you gotta learn your pricing, and you could get a suite in a hotel for um not too bad, like little price here, but not too bad, where a person would stay there for the amenities more than they would go somewhere like in Fishtown or something else with their family too, because there's a parking issue, the neighborhood might be noisy, yada yada yada. But they don't know that going in. It's just like these are the customer types, and you got to figure out who your customer is. But the side hustles, like I was saying, you can be the host. I mean, you can refer through the host, and then they actually had an Airbnb associate program, which is like basically affiliate links. So if I was just an Airbnb user, but I was an influencer and I was like really digging this one place and I took pictures of it and all that, and people were like, "Oh, where's that? I want to go there." They could use that associate link to link to that person's profile. And you know how people are like, "Oh, you should let me stay in your place because I'm an influencer." I would just be like, okay, you're an influencer. Let's see how good your influence is. Here's the affiliate link. Knock yourself out. And if it does well, then your trip will be paid
Had
for.
success with that before? Have you had that happen?
No, well, to me directly, no, because I would just be like, it wouldn't. I didn't have the bigger type of places where it even made sense. Just be like, well, it's just a regular place. But I know if people, have been approached for that kind of stuff, and normally they turn it down because at the end of the day, the influencer is just trying to get like, how would you track it, right? You'd have to actually create an affiliate link. Well, that Airbnb associate link is an affiliate link. So, but the actual user does it through their account. So you couldn't just give me. I'm wondering about that though. If you were an associate, because I never tried it that way. If you were an associate like me, if I could give you a link, an associate link for you to your that you could use to promote my place. And I want to say that it probably is possible. You just have to go around there and look at like how they create the links because it's just a generic link. So whether you give it to me or I get it on my own from your listing, it's got either way that would go back and they would get a piece of Airbnb's fee, not like your host, like your cut is your cut. They would cut you a piece of whatever Airbnb made. And as we know, that's what in the 16 to 18% range, which isn't bad, especially if you went after just luxury places that are getting $500-600 a night. I mean, a piece of that.
Real quick, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that would add up. If someone was just like, I'm an influencer, all I want to do is I want to travel, and everywhere I travel, I want to stay in an Airbnb. And my strategy is like, I'm gonna just make sure that I can use my Airbnb associate link to promote that place. I'm not even gonna bug them. I would take a shot. Hey, I'm an influencer. Can I get some, you know, influencer discount? And probably they're gonna say no. They're probably gonna say kick rocks, whatever, or just not answer you. But rather than have that uncomfortable conversation that might actually make the host drop you because that's kind of like it's kind of a rude question. It's not worth, take your shot, shoot your shot, yeah, but you would also probably 40% of the time just turn the person off that you even asked that, and they would just be like, nope, don't want this person here, yada yada yada. People forget that, that part of it.
Yeah, no,
So
people take more offense to that than you'd think.
they do, like I
Really
said, like
pisses you off. I do that every time I go to stay somewhere. Is I reach out to other hosts. I'm like, hey, I'm a host. Like, I'll give you a good review. Like, you might give me like a little discount when I stay here. And almost every time it turns them off entirely. Like they won't even let me stay. And I was like, I'll still like, all right, fine. Like I'll pay full price, no big deal. I was just shooting my shot.
well, here's the thing. Unfortunately, most hosts are the biggest pains in the ass.
It's true.
Yeah, when they come in and they do a review, they're comparing it to what they're. It's almost like when you're trying to buy a house and the people have furniture, like they designed it a certain way, and it's not your taste at all, but they feel like you should love what they love, right? And you're just trying to buy a house, but trying to get money off because you don't like the Italian wallpaper and plastic on the couches and all that. Like, you're shooting your shot, but you're also turning them off, right? So that's almost like I said, that affiliate, that associate link is a way for people that don't want to broach that subject with a host because to still get a little bit of something back if they do have influence. If somebody really liked the place they stayed, they took a lot of pictures, they could do that. That was part one. Part two of that was if you stay at an Airbnb and you have any kind of skills or influence with a camera, I mean, you could do two kinds of marketing, right? You could just be like, hey, I'm up in here, I'm in Philly, and you could do like your own like little blog and your own sort of focusing on the apartment and what you love about it kind of thing to encourage people to check that listing out. You don't have to ask the host anything. It's just a link. I mean, if they book, they book. They're still going to have to go through all the steps to convince the host that the host wants that person. But at the end of the day, it's better than nothing. Like having zero chance of making any of your money back by celebrating, that host house. If you're a good person and you just enjoy doing video blogs or just enjoy the balcony and shooting from it, then do that. That's for the love, and that person would win from it. But why do that if you could profit from it some? And you're not selling something. You just have a link to that person's site. If the person wants to, that if the person wants to go to that exact house that you happen to stay at. For example, if I was Will Smith or Kevin Hart, I could be like,
Sure.
yo, this place is dope. And I could have that link. And all these people might be like, well, damn, I want to stay where he stayed. And that would work for somebody like that. I mean, they'd probably make all their money back and then some without even asking the host anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's
100%. Have you had that happen before? Have you had anyone stay that was like pretty influential?
the most. Well, I had a Eagles football player. He was real low key. Some basketball player that was famous overseas. And do you know the guy from Airbnb Automated, Sean?
Yeah,
Right, I forget his name.
I
Rex
forget his
Zedovic.
last name. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
While he was scoping Philly, he actually stayed at one of my places. So that's how I got to know him. It was like accidental, weird, but he stayed at one of my spots. But nobody that big, and this didn't even exist before then. So it could have been like I could be like, yo, I would tell. Had this existed, I think this came into existence. I want to say 6, 8 months, right? So it didn't really exist before then.
Sure,
I would have told people, hey man, if you ever want to like refer people and make money off of it, like here's my link. Like you could use that and make money on your account. And I'd show them how to do it. That would A smart host would do that with somebody that was famous or whatever. They could be like, and man, I can give you a little discount, but even better, if you want to make some money back, here's a little link. And what it does is it throws money back on your Airbnb account. I think that's how it works. They put it back in. So either they'll put it as a travel credit, or I've never used it because it's so new and I was kind of like I moved so I couldn't. I always wondered if you could like do it to your own spot, kind of hack the system and do it for your own, but I never really tried it. But the point is it exists, right? So those are some ways you can use it. So I would do like one kind of influencer video, and then I would do one just like straight, no music, no, just showing the place with nice pans and in and out, like a video. Like you do a 2 minute video kind of showcasing the place if you're decent at it. And
sure,
I would tell the host, hey, listen, I would say, I got a couple of options. I did these videos. I hope you're okay with that. Yeah, great. Because most hosts don't even have time to do that. Like they wouldn't. First of all, Airbnb doesn't. They should, but they don't let you do a video of your property. But if they did, you could, and posted it right on the page. This person could probably take that in the future. But I used to use it for my marketing, just show little like 1 minute video of my place, real nice, put my information on it, and I would get bookings from that just organically from people. So you could make that for a busy host. You could say, hey, I do this, I do video, I do photography. I don't know if you're interested or not, but I made a video of your property. Here's what it looks like. And or if you're interested, I mean, give me $50, $100, just throw it back through Airbnb. You know what I mean? Like a credit. And I'll give it to you. You can have the link or give you the download or whatever. Why not? Right. So if I was a host, a busy host, and I liked what the video looked like, I would be like, hell yeah, because you saved me from having to go hire somebody out. I'm not that good at it. I can use that for my marketing. Sure. Right. I would do that. How I don't know other people would, but
sure.
personally, I would pay for
Dollars
that.
for a video is insanely valuable.
Exactly. And you're already there and you're already doing it for yourself and you're already pumping your own link. You could offer that to the host for 50, $100 and say, hey, or just, you know, like, hey, I made this video and all I'm asking, I'll give it to you. Just knock, throw me back $50 or $100 off the stay. Everybody wins because now the tax is down and you like, you made your trip was cheaper and they really, they're not getting taxed on it because they didn't gain anything. And you just did a video while you were already there. I
Right.
would do that.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge win. That's definitely one way that people can kind of make a side hustle out of it without even having to try. Like you're already there.
Yeah, if you're a traveler and you already travel a lot and you use Airbnb a lot, you could simply just set those two things up and play with that. And I would say that you're probably going to have about a 20 to 30% yes rate from that one way or another, because people are just like, well, I don't have time to do it myself. For urban stuff, probably definitely. I don't know about the like a really big swanky property would probably already have that, but like the smaller things, they probably don't, and they would be like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, why
Or you
not?
could be a nice guy, give it away, and the guy would give you like a travel credit coming back. It doesn't hurt because you're already there. And
Right.
especially if that's already in your wheelhouse to do, it's going to take you 5 minutes to knock something like that out, put it together on your phone and make an offer. And worst they can say is no, but you did it because you did it for yourself too. You did it for your own affiliate link. So even if they say no, screw off, I ain't paying you no money, you can still use that to market your own link, and people would come to it through your link, and it's something. Who knows? You get 100 of those, you make all your money back for your one stay. Why not, right? To that end, the cleaners that clean Airbnbs could do the same damn thing. So if you're a cleaning company and you're already cleaning people's Airbnbs and you have a good relationship with hosts, one value add you could do, because I remember, because one girl that used to be in our group, she would do something like this, but she would do it to focus on her business, like what she cleaned. She didn't take in the whole property. But what if you were marketing your cleaning services and taking videos, and then you were like, I'm gonna take a video of the whole place because it's really nice. And then you said to an owner, hey, you want this video? Just give me 50, $100 because you could use it for your marketing. They'd probably be like, yeah, you just cleaned and set the whole place up. So you already know it's nice and ready to go. And you were already there. And it takes you 5 minutes, 10 minutes more to knock this out. And you were already going to do marketing for your own like your own stuff. That right there, plus the affiliate link that the cleaner could make being on Airbnb, is a couple of drips right there that they can get some extra cash flow. And
Yeah,
they're
that
already
compounds
there.
easily.
Huh?
They're already there, like you said. It compounds like really easily, and it's definitely an option for them. And cleaning is a super scalable part of the business if you're good at what you do, because at least for me, it seemed to be like the kind of the wrench in the system is finding good cleaners is not easy. So if you find someone who's good, like you keep them, and anyone who's a good cleaner can probably get business left and right. So to add that extra feature with the affiliate link would be huge.
Yeah. Also, they don't even, let's say they're not good at that. Oh, I'm not good at video. You got a cousin, a kid, like one of your kids is probably good at video. Just go take them with you, tell them what you want to do, shoot it, put it together, and give the kid $50 or something. Like, it's it's stuff that people are like maximizes their time there and their opportunity. And let's say you're the cleaner and you do that for everybody, you become known as that person. Like that's a whole side business right there
Oh,
for
big,
your own
and you're
for your own
already
stuff.
there.
Yeah,
Already there, so it's huge.
that's another one. What else? What's another one? So the garbage removal thing, same thing. You you could just have your own little, like, for example, if you're a cleaner, garbage removal goes with it. So some will take it out, some will not because they can't, because they came on the bus or whatever, and they can't carry trash bags with them. So somebody who was just like a handyman, or like even an Uber driver, right? Just an Uber driver, Lyft driver, something like that, could just have light cleaning service, like garbage removal as part of their little repertoire. What's it going to cost you to put some buckets in your trunk, like some refuse, case you could go get something from Home Depot, waterproof kind of. Um, Actually, you know what? The Home Depot sells them, and then I think something with no holes in it, but a couple trash bags you take out, charge $5 a bag. You're already in the area. They ping you. You're like, yeah, I grab that. And as well as I do that, there's like a $75 fine if you leave the freaking trash out early on a Philly street. So what if you're the guy that, like, you just have a little route along while you're running around in your lift hours? Yeah, grab that trash, throw it in another trash can, keep it put in your car, whatever, while you're running around. Of course, if you're by the airport and you're dealing with people's luggages, might not be perfect, but that little just trash removal person, if you just dedicated yourself to that, you could probably get about a few smaller crowds in the city, run around, pick up those things. Like I said, 2 bag minimum, $5 each drop. So it's $10. I know myself, I've paid up to $25 for somebody to just do that. So if you make a flat fee of $20 for like, of per pickup, some people will say yes, because the alternative is $50 to $75 ticket if you don't. Or the rats and roaches and everything that comes with leaving it in the house because you just want to leave it there somewhere in the building before they come, or before the actual trash people come.
Sure.
So that's another little side hustle that can go right with the cleaners, because if the cleaner has the right person to call, then that family connection. Hey, yo, come to this one. Yeah, I'll go get it. They can leave it outside. It gets taken. Done deal. That's a nice little side hustle. In fact, from that, I got an idea for an app for trash pickup that I'm developing with hopefully a VC fund. So that whole just the garbage part. What another hustle? Say you're in Airbnb, you got referral links, you can do some video. Maybe you're a cleaner, maybe not. Maybe you want to do trash, maybe you don't. But just being a runner, right? So we have Postmates and we have what's the Amazon one? Amazon, there's like one that says Amazon Now or something like that. But they're still slow, right? People always they're running out of stuff all the time, right? So a runner could actually contract with a cleaning company and say, hey, whenever you have to, when people are out of materials, like tell me, I'll go get it. I'll have a trunk full of toilet paper and the common stuff, coffee, toilet paper, yada, yada, yada. And just like the dudes that used to hustle like hats and t-shirts out the back of their trunk, you just got one guy running around refilling people's stuff for like, an order. Like they could just get all the stuff from BJ's or Sam's or even Walmart and just have a stack. And it's, just with hosts, hey, I'll do the refills, and they can call them. Cause that's like a $10 to $20 little delivery right there, just for making sure that guests have toilet papers, or the guest checks in and they're like, oh, the toilet paper's not here because the cleaner, and you got to wait for the cleaner to go back because they didn't do it. So
Right.
this little runner service right there, that's
It's
a guy
great.
could contract with just your company with the 20 or 30, whatever, how many you and Scott got, and just be your runner. And that's all he does all day. Run around and just make sure the little things are done. That's a whole gig right there.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where we're looking at that and seeing if it's worthwhile to get someone in there. 'Cause like you said, the cleaners aren't always going to be the most efficient in doing it. So it's just finding that balance and seeing how it works in that sense. But
We
reliability is so valuable in this business. That's what I'm noticing. With everything we've talked about is like whether it's the trash cutter or the cleaner or just even just having a runner that you can actually hit up and expect to run things. Just by being reliable in this business, at $10, $20 a property, things add up really quick. You can make a whole business out of it.
if you had a nice little electric car, small car with all like trunk space, you could be the runner and the trash collector at the same time, and that could just be like that's your whole hustle right there. You don't even have to Uber or nothing, because you would get paid more off of this probably than you would. And if you have handyman skills on top of that, you'd be golden. Because that was the next one, handyman. Like I got when I was doing it, my best handymen were the guys who were the Lyft and the Uber drivers. I'd be like, yo, man, are you around this? Are you working today? Yeah, I'm around this. Cool. Can you stop by this place in between rides and go check the electric or go put that door in? Yeah, I can fit that in. And they were faster than TaskRabbit and anybody else because they were already out there and they already knew what they're doing. So I would have my one guy, my favorite guy, he was an electrician. And then he was also like, he could do basic handiwork stuff. And I used to always, especially Center City, because it's always hard down there to just get people running in and out. He
Sure.
run in, do whatever he had to do, run back out, cash app him, and it was done. Always fast too.
That's awesome. I mean, that's huge advice. Is that I would have never thought of Lyft and Uber drivers as someone to hit up for that kind of help, but
Hmm.
I
That was
would have never thought
accidental, but
they
it
were
worked.
handy too. Like
What's
that,
that?
I would have never thought they were handy either. But a lot of the
Well,
stuff that you need isn't super extreme or super in depth. So
no. It's like I think there's a key. I need you to go get a key copy or something. Or um, there's somebody's bitching about a cabinet that the screw came out. Can you go fix that real quick? Like, remember, as a host, they just want to know their needs are being addressed quickly. They feel I swear, like people think they're in a hotel sometimes. Like you're just going to call down to the desk and somebody's going to pop up in 5 minutes. They have that attitude these days. This is a problem, but that's one of the Airbnb sort of um, unfortunately train the customers to think that things are going to happen like that, you know, or they're going to get their money back or they're going to have a complaint. Unfortunately, we got to deal with that. But if you have a high end property, it's not going to hurt you to have that guy running around. You know what I mean? So to that end, not only, a lot of these guys are handymen that are driving around because they're contractors that are out of work. A lot of them, like they're, it's seasonal, right? Like who's really doing construction in the butt ass cold of Philly, right? Right. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't lay concrete because it's too cold, or you can't do this or that. Like, so they'll run around doing Uber or Lyft or something like that. So they could actually be on your, on your call list. Or the other ones are like young kids that are coming out of like trade school that might not have that real solid job yet. So they're kind of working their way up. They also might be able to do this either way, or the best ones. Because back to this, so people are like, oh, these are a lot of ideas, but give me a good example. Someone who got hurt on the job, like they were a contractor and they got hurt, so they can't work. And the only thing they can do is Uber or Lyft, because if the government or somebody sees them over here on a job site and they got like a case for workman's comp or something, they're going to get jammed up. But if they're running Uber or Lyft and they got to run in and out of a house, who's checking that? So you're helping them do that too, right? Like nobody's chasing that guy around. They're looking for the guy to be on a job site messing around, or in front of his house, like building a porch or something stupid like that. That's who gets caught. So the little handyman stuff is good for those guys that are like kind of like, they're on workman's comp because they got hurt, they got a limp, they can't do anything, but they can't take a real job because that will mess with their workman's comp. That's the kind of people you want. So um that's another source. And you can be a runner, like garbage guy, and a handyman all at the same time while you're in Uber,
I
or
was
you
about
can
to
make
say,
that your
like,
business.
that's when you really kill it, is when you combine everything together. It's
The
just,
thing is, you don't want them all though. You want to take your three favorite or two favorite and get known for that, and then partner with other people for the other parts of this, because you could take this whole list of things and become one company, but you would more intelligently farm out the pieces, because you're going to need overlap. And what I mean is, like if you have multiple, you have to have multiple cleaners. What if one cleaner gets sick, or the car gets towed, or they get hurt, blah blah blah, all these reasons, but they're on the schedule. So you need two or three sets of cleaners that you can call last minute, which is why I never had one set of cleaners. I always had 3 to 4, because one's always going to go bad after a while. The other one's not going to be perfect at certain things, but great at others, whatever. But your job is to keep, things flowing and guests happy. So sometimes they're not going to be 100% happy, but they could be 95% happy. And you're just going to, in the response time, sometimes all it is response time. So these guys can also be, if you're a handyman, or let's say you want to be a host concierge. So you got the nicer properties, you got the stuff that's like in Center City, or maybe a place that's getting like starting to be known for parties, like Point Breeze, right? Where people are always like trying to sneak one by you down there, just because that's the area. Um, Somebody can simply be a guy you just pay to show up when they do check-in, right? Because we're all on the electronic check-in kind of deal, where we're
yeah,
like,
of
we don't
course.
be bothered. So we think our camera's cool, but they can block a camera. We think, if you say somebody's going to be there to meet them in your listing, you're going to eliminate a good 50, 60, maybe 70% of the scammers who are going to try to pull something off, because there's somebody to eyeball the people who are supposed to be walking in the door. And if mom decided to go rent a property for her kid under her account, and that's not the one showing up, and your guys just try to make sure that everything looks right, it saved me a couple times, the cameras, but the camera's not always there. Some girls are renting, and then it's like, okay, you're not gonna have a party, cool. You look, and then there's 3 dudes trying to go in the door with the girl's code. Nah, you're not. You're all out of here because you lied to me. Well, that person is another form of protection, and you could pay them like this. Hey, they said they're showing up at this time. Just go there and make sure they're going to be there. $20, $25 for the run. And again, Uber, Lyft, you're already in the area. Somebody like that's perfect for the concierge just to double check secure, their security and confirmation that your guest is who they say they are. And it's not that hard to do if you want to just say, hey, I'll do this and try it out, and you don't mind running around if you're already running around.
Right.
That that one's a little bit more special because knowing that you're just going to be running across from the other side of the city for 20 or 25 bucks might not appeal to most people, but you can do that with somebody in the neighborhood or a neighbor or another Airbnb host who happens to like live in his, and you're like down the street from each other, and you get along with each other. There's a that one is one of those. It could be your cleaner, although not ideal. Um, but if you're, like I said, if you're a runner already and you're a handyman or something else, that could be an add-on service. You would do that for X amount of dollars. I would play with that one a little bit just to see if it's worth it. But I know that certain people would pay for that if it was a higher end property. So if you got Rittenhouse Square, some penthouse somewhere, or some place that's going to always be like suspicious activity, might be worth it to pay that, that extra $20 to have that person to greet them there, because it's going to save you from having to kick a bunch of people out, police reports, damages to your property, and all the other stuff that could come in if you didn't check that going in. Like what's a better investment? You got your what do you call it? Your antenna up, your spidey senses are tingling. Send the dude out, right? Just
Yeah,
do it.
it's totally proactive instead of reactive, and that's where you need to be.
Yeah.
Save you a lot of money that way. And just it seems like just being reliable in this business and being ready to do any little task that a host asks, you can find a way to pocket $10, $20 over and over and over again.
Yeah. And then there's private security. Could be that same guy. You're big buff and you're like, yeah, I look intimidating. All right, well, go break up that party. Here's 50 bucks. Kick them all out. Don't even call the cops. If they call the cops, here's a lease in your name for these 2 nights that they're supposed to be there. You show that to the cops. They're not supposed to be there. You don't know who the hell they are. That's what you do.
Right.
Right. So,
Have
you
you
know,
have you done that before?
not exactly that. And I'm going to leave it that. And I'm going to leave it at that. I have a few of the people in the group know I call them squatter nukes, and there's just these techniques of getting people out in different ways depending on who they are and how they got there. Um, Obviously, you're not supposed to evict tenants, but there's the whole what do you call it, lodgers rights. The
It's
hell.
squatters' rights. I mean, you get
Oh,
10.
there's squatters rights, but that's not even a real thing. That's just because cops are lazy and they don't want to get in a civil situation. But it's the same thing that the hotels have. Innkeeper rights. There you go. Innkeeper rights are stronger than like landlord tenant, because the same thing that hotels have. If there's a hotel party, they can't stay there. They can get kicked out, cops or security, right? So because the understanding is this is an inn, this is not a regular residence.
Sure.
So you have innkeeper's rights, and if you play it the right way, you can get them out. However, the police don't know nothing or care nothing about that. They don't want the problem. They just want, oh, you got an Airbnb. Well, this is your problem. According to us, that's a tenant. No, it's not. But here's the thing. You can argue with them all day, or you can just do what you want, because at the end of the day, if you get them out, you're never going to have to worry about that cop part. So you got to do what you got to do to get them out. And sometimes it's sending some big, scary looking dudes in there swinging or looking like they're about to swing with bats, and they'll get out.
Right.
I've seen videos of that happening. I'm just going to say that. Or if you're more of a pacifist, you can get somebody to go in there and be like, look here, here's the code to get in. Here's this lease. These people are screaming that they're going to be like, they're going to call the cops. Okay, well, as long as you get in, sit on the sofa. If you got a pit bull, take the pit bull with you, or just eat a lot of beans when you go. I want you to fart that place up, sit on the couch, just don't get up. And when the cops come, be like, I'm supposed to be here. You'll have the paperwork. They won't. Let the cops figure it out. Usually the person with the lease, the piece of paper, is going to be the one to win. How many people have ever printed out anything from Airbnb that had it? They would be like showing stuff on their phone, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And here, I got the owner's number. owners call the cops. Yeah, you know so and so. Yeah, he's supposed to. He's renting from me over here. Okay, well, we got a situation. Some other people said you rented to them. I don't know who those other people are. The only person who's supposed to be there is that guy right there that you're talking to. Kick all those other MFers out. Then what? What are they going to say? They got to get out because the cop's not going to leave them there. So they can go take that to court, whatever. But most of those people are too lazy to do stuff like that anyway. They're counting on your inability to make the cops do that. But ain't nobody trying to really go through suing somebody because that's going to cost them money. And they ain't there to cost. They're not there to spend money. They're there to save money. So if they want to go and push something like that, what are they going to spend? $2,500, $3,000 just to get a lawyer to take it, and then look at the Philly court system. If you can get anybody evicted in 6 months, that's a beautiful, like you're lucky with the way things are going right now.
Right.
So I would rather ask for forgiveness than for permission and just do that and get them out because you're not prolonging an ache. And worst case scenario, like just if you worried about them actually suing you, just like, hey, stop running that place. No longer do rental arbitrage. Put another company name in there, and then when they call, I'll be like, "Yeah, that's not even this company anymore. Sorry, you're suing the wrong person now." That's what I would do, but I'm not a lawyer. I've
Right.
done,
Right.
I've skated on similar theories, though. I will say that I've done some funny things like, and it's just confused people to the point where they just didn't know what to do anymore, so they let it go. And that's all you really want to do. You just want to confuse people to the point where it's not easy anymore, and they know they're gonna have to spend time and money to try to push this thing through, and ain't nobody that motivated
You
that's
have to you have
already.
to create that friction point. Like you do some more unorthodox things. It sounds like that are not necessarily like wrong or illegal. It's just they're different, and it just makes it awkward, and then that fixes the situation. So it makes a lot of sense. It's creative. It's a creative solution.
It's yeah, you just well that, and you're just taking they're trying to play checkers with you. You just got to play some chess. You got to like just throw off their whole, oh, wait a minute, we didn't see that one coming.
Sure.
And then they don't know what to do. It's like it's not easy anymore. Like I said, we've had some situations where we did that, where we threw people off, and because they were so off their game, even though they were professionals at it, they left because they didn't know what to do with that particular weird situation. But that's the thing. You have to look at what they bring to the table and look at how to use it against them. Especially people who will bring kids into a situation trying to leverage that as feel sorry for me. you know, don't play that game with me. I've gone through the system. I've adopted children, and I know all the things that it's going to take for them to come knocking on your door because you're dragging a kid into your little scam that you're trying to pull off on people. So that threat of that is way bigger than the police, and you use that leverage. Same thing with squatters and everything else. They just want to be all comfortable thinking that they can just put a police report against somebody or what do they call it, a restraining order, so that the owner can't show up. So the owner should never show up because then you can't put a restraining order because you don't know who he is. So you always send other people because once you go and you try to do that, forget it. It's over. You're screwed. You just stepped into their trap. Stuff like that. But that's from being a landlord a long time. I know all them tricks now because I was a victim of some of them. So
Yeah, and that's one of the best ways to learn is kind of get bitten a couple times and learn how to move from there.
yeah,
And
man.
that's one of the reasons I wanted to chat with you today. You have a lot of experience with it, and I'm sure you've gotten your fair share of lumps, and you've found a way to make it through it.
Yeah, you got no other choice, man. You gotta make it through. What's the alternative?
Right, right. You can't let them just bully you and knock you out of the game. So you have to just find a way to get around it.
So yeah, man, them side hustles, they're like I said, if someone puts at least a few of them, and the last one is kind of like just hooking up affiliate links, like it's called Nyoob, Nyooobe, and partnering. Like if you were a host, you could partner with the local restaurants. I know we've always talked about this, or you can set up a guest. I don't know. Do you use like electronic guest books?
Yeah, yeah. And we have some partnership services like that where they get sent like some type of link, and anything that gets ordered through it is 5% back
Yeah.
to us or whatever the cut is. And that seems to be really the name of the game in Airbnb is that you're not really making the most money off of just the nightly stay. There's just like there's a lot of little things that can go into it. 5% here, 5% there, that you make some good money off.
Yeah, just like, putting, if somebody's new to Uber or Lyft, right in your description, hey, if you're new, here's a credit, use this link. And I've gotten well, $2 off Lyft, like it's like for each ride. And same with Uber, like some kind of credit from it. So it's something, but an accumulation of all those affiliate links eventually, I mean, it's something is something, right? It doesn't
It adds
hurt
up quick.
traffic.
You'd actually like this. I do that with my Turo. So I rent my car on Turo, and I rent a 2021 Tesla Model 3. And what I do is, after everyone stays, most people are booking it for the purpose of, I want to test ride it before I buy one. So as soon as they're done, I'm like, hey, did you like it? You enjoyed it? Great. If you're going to buy one, here's my link. We both get 1,000 free miles of charging from here on out. And
I didn't know Tesla did that. They give you an affiliate link. That's
they
pretty
have an
sweet.
affiliate link. So I sent it, and I got the third guy that I had was, I got it. So I got 1,000 free miles. He's like, hey, I just ordered mine. It's like, great. That sounds great.
And here's the thing, like, you're never going to live off of it, but I mean, there's people that try, but it's always nice to get that extra little bit from something because you took a shot, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's already there.
and Newbie does that with, if you can get local restaurants to use that, they have that and a second tier affiliate link. So that particular app, they're right now, I think they're in the mid east, but I know the guy, and the videos. You know what I'll do? Like, if you're gonna post this, I'll send you the link to all the videos, and people can just kind of go through them and see them themselves. And then the
Sure.
links are in there. But I mean, that would be the best way to describe that. But that's better for a host, because then if you have your guidebook, all the restaurants in your guidebook, instead of you trying to figure out like each one's got to have an affiliate system, if they're all on this Newbie app, that'll automatically track to you, and you don't have to like go out and do individual deals with everybody. You just got to get them on that app and then use that link to that app to handle all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the link crew like just cuts all the friction. It's a seamless process to just track everything. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
and also you using your leverage as an Airbnb host, for example, like I said, you and Scott, um, you have X amount of properties, and you can go to these restaurant owners like, look, I'm a local, I run a short-term rental business. I have 7 properties in this area. I would like to include you in your restaurant on this, in this, like, as a referral, like, to here. And all I need for you to do to make that easy for me, because it's not going to do anything. Like, I'm not going to ask you for any money. Is sign up for this app right here, and this app has like a referral system. Like, and check it out. If you like it, just sign up for it. Then when you being on that app, I can link those people through that app to you, so we don't have to worry about all the accounting or any kind of weirdness like that. It's all through the app, and all you got to do is sign up for the app. And if you do that, I'm going to shoot all, you're going to be in all my guidebooks as the Italian restaurant that everybody should go visit, or this or that, the other thing. And so that gets you traffic to them without having to do like a whole lot of like I said, like trying to set up affiliate links for everybody in the area, because they're all going to be, oh, that's too much, that's way too much for me to think about. So yeah.
sure, I mean, it makes it seamless, and there's definitely a high value to that, especially as you scale and you have more properties to play that game with them. It
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
that's the trick. You got to have, like, a good amount of properties to leverage, because that's like a hotel deal, for them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's a huge opportunity for them. And that's one thing that we do now. Like, I just started putting like brochures, like magneted to the fridge of like local places that we think are great without a partnership deal. Maybe that's something to look into. But it's just like, I like those people, just genuinely like the people who run those restaurants, and I want to see them flourish. And I don't even necessarily tell them that we're advertising for them. It's just, I want to see them win, and I want to see the community get built up, and see the guys who hustle in the neighborhood like do well. So um,
But
it's
I would look at it this way. What you said is great, and free referrals are always going to be sweet, but there's no way of tracking that
no,
for you or for them. So
right.
you could be like, look, I'm just going to tell you, like, we've been referring people to you, but we don't even know how many people have gone. Maybe they gone, maybe they haven't. There's no
Sure.
way for us to tell. But if you would like, we have a way of tracking that. And the only reason I'm asking you is because we'd like to know, like, hey, do these people really come through? And probably you're going to want to know too, like where your marketing dollars are being spent, because
Right.
you might be like, hey, I want you guys have brought in 28% of my business. And I'm thinking it's coming from some truck that I put my sign on, or some billboard, and it's coming from you guys. So now that I know that, like, we should do more together. Like, you're giving them, and that data is helping them be better business people
Only
too. They look at it that way.
it's right there. Like you said through the link, that's absolutely something to look into. That's huge.
I never got to put it together because all this thing happened when I moved to Florida. I had the time, the space to think all this stuff out. And I was just like, I knocked it out in like a couple days real quick. And I was just like, wow, this is like this thing right here is like a whole business by itself. And you don't even have to own an Airbnb property. Although after all this, you're probably going to rather own an Airbnb property, but knowing all this, you're going to be like, you're going to have all these little side gigs going on. Kind of like, what is it? You have the cleaning business too, right? Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So all the like half of these things you could add onto your cleaners for hosts, and like make that a host services that you could be like, you could either add it on as value add, or you can be like, look, we got a couple things. I don't know if you want to buy this or not, but here's the offer and see what happens.
Right. Right. And it's just eliminating the inefficiencies in the system and just finding ways to do it a little more reliably. There's a lot of opportunity here. And
Yeah.
I never thought about it from the affiliate links standpoint, but that's another huge opportunity in itself because it's already there.
Because I was going to say, rather than saying this is the services we offer, you can say these are the services we use. Now, if you ever want to, here's the thing, if you ever want to like leave our services, here's these ancillary services that you could actually do for yourself. Let's say the host is just a little bit more hands-on. Well, look, you don't got to use us for that, because that costs too much money. Here's who we use. It's the same thing whether you use them or us. Here's the thing: if you own, or you have that's your little side company, it's like the same thing. And
It
also, if
happens
they leave you,
time to
yeah,
time.
if they leave you, they're still kind of your customer, and you know why that's important. But the point
Yeah.
is, you have control of all that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's happened. Like my cleaning business has worked with Tidy Host, who's great, um, and like we've had owners who step away because they want to be more hands-on and just do it themselves, but then they need the cleaning aspect, and then we just still do the cleaning, or we still do the trash collection, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own perspective on how involved they want to be, and I don't think people know that until they see it and they see the fees, and everyone has a different like time value of whatever they're doing. So it's just really, we've noticed our bread and butter is people with more units who want to be hands off. But the one-off owners who have one or maybe two places, it's typically a struggle because they want to do everything themselves.
It's
Or
not
they,
it's not enough of a headache for them yet. That's what it is. One unit anybody can do. Yeah, every once in a while you're gonna have to unfortunately run out for wet sheets that didn't get dry or whatever. And but that's the thing. After a while, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna just pay somebody for that. But it takes them a while because everybody wants to control every penny. But after a while, you're like, well, I stepped over dimes to get at pennies because I had to waste my gas, my time, my sleep to go handle that problem when I could have just paid somebody else $20 to do it and never got out of my seat. Like
yeah,
that's what you
100%.
don't get. Huh?
100%. And it's crazy because at least a lot of the one-off owners I have are making 100 to $150,000 a year with their day job. And then they're like, I'll be the trash collector for $20 to pick up. I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, I'm cool with you doing that, but remember, like, this is your place. And if it's not getting picked up, like, it might be easier if we just use someone else.
Yeah. When you get that $75 trash fine, then we're gonna see, because you're gonna want to go downtown, fight it, make an excuse, and waste a half a day doing that over $75. Or this.
Right. Yeah. Or you just never think about it. No headache. It's done. $20. Like, let's keep moving. So that's a struggle that I've noticed as we scale too. And especially with the mindset that I've been taking on with having more units, is it's all about how to do things more efficiently. And it's just it's tough to see eye to eye with owners with only one. want to do it themselves because they're not seeing it from the scale perspective, and that's totally fair because they do only have one. And it's just kind of playing that balance and trying to put yourself back in their shoes. I remember when I only had one, and I was doing a whole lot more. So it's trying to figure all that out.
It's the same thing I tell people in the real estate world. Like if you're going to, everybody's like, oh, I want to have a rental property. I want to just collect rent. Well, that's cool. But who's going to manage your property? Well, I am. Okay. You should manage your property, at least the first one or two. Then after that, you'll at least know what things cost so that you can not get robbed on a roof or, a carpentry job or just you'll have an idea of what things cost. Then you're going to want to manage your property because at the end of the day, that 8, 9, 10% management fee, as long as you know that the price of the price of the repairs is right, is kind of worth it, especially because you have a job. Let's say you're working. A lot of these people, they have a 9 to 5. You don't want to be getting worrying about this thing every weekend. Like as well as I do. Fridays are like air traffic control. It's like landing planes. You know, that's where all the bad things can happen. And Sundays is another one. And God
Friday
forbid
and
there's a
Sundays are the worst.
yeah,
You have
Fridays and
to look
Sundays.
the opposite
And
of a normal person.
yeah, and that's where you work the most, and that's where the people that have a 9 to 5 want to do the least. And because you're in the business, is like that's where you're going to get hit the hardest. That's where everything can fall apart. That's where people get sick, and God forbid there's a holiday to throw all that off. So then it spreads out into other days. But
Sure.
like, those are and Saturday nights are you always worrying it's their party. So like your weekends are shot, and if you're trying to enjoy your life with your family, you don't want that. You don't want to be dealing with that shit. So
100%. And I think long-term rental management or short-term, like it makes sense for the purpose of the entire reason you got into the space and you wanted to collect that rent check was you wanted passive income. So the second you start picking up other things to do within it and outside of managing one or two, which is a little easier on your time, once you start to scale a little bit, trying to do it all yourself, you have to make it that crucial decision. Am I going to do this as a job or am I going to hand it off to someone else? Because it can't be, it has to be one or the other, essentially.
amen to that. Because like I said, that's just something you can never force upon a person. They're just gonna have to see it after a while. And like I said, my wife used to see me with the first ones, and she's like, I don't know, I don't like that. It's too much. I see the stress, and I'm like, yeah, well, I got to get to a certain point so that I can hire it all out. But I can't know what needs to be hired out until I go through some of the pain of like what could happen and why you have backup systems upon backup systems. Your code don't work. Oh, the batteries. Okay, well, where's the batteries? Who's going to get the batteries? Oh, suddenly that's you. Okay, well, you should have a place for batteries. Cool. Or a backup key or a lockbox hidden somewhere. Then you can get in and then you can go get the batteries and not be rushing too much and trying to, having people outside waiting in the cold. Stuff like that.
But it takes that experience, like you said, to know what things should cost before you can really get to that point where you can hire it out or have the backup system the way it needs to be. It's just kind of trial and error. And you really just learn to appreciate things. I have never been handy myself, but it's at the point where I can guesstimate what any handyman will charge for anything, more or less within $5-10, which is crazy because I don't know how to do anything myself. But it comes with experience. A couple years in the business, you learn like who's trying to make a quick dime off you and who's just there to help you and try to play with it and be there for you in longevity. So it all comes with experience, like you said. And I think that's where it gets really interesting is owners who have one or two who are about to take that next step. Uh, their appreciation changes really quick, which is cool.
Yeah. I always tell people like the first one's easy. After two, you better start getting some systems together. You better get the messaging system together at least and the pricing software and some of these other things are just going to be spending a lot of time on a computer that you didn't even think that you were going to be doing, and things will fall through the cracks. So
Right.
yep.
And the cost of things falling through the cracks is insanely high relative to just hiring some of this stuff out. And that's a lot of the kind of not necessarily the pitch, but it's it's something that people don't see because it just happens. Time goes on, life goes on. You didn't change the pricing for a week. It is what it is. But by not changing that, you may have cost yourself 10% in gross or margin, which would pay for your service right there, to have someone else just be doing it. So there's a lot of value with partnering with someone to help you with that side of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess that was all I had for. Well, we definitely went out for side hustles into the main one, but yeah, I mean, there. I guess if you got anything else you want to talk about, or
Yeah. Two things. I would love to give you a closing remark, and then also if we've got dad jokes to share, I'm sure. We've both got to drop one. So I'll let you start with the closing remark.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. It's good because I need to practice the um the podcast since I have my own dad podcast now. The Dad Next Door show just started about this will be the fourth week, and trying to get into the whole the flow, being comfortable with people, because like this was great because we got to ask each other questions.
Sure.
And I like that more because it's more of a conversation. So I'm definitely trying to achieve more of that instead of just a list of questions. So appreciate you bringing me on to help me get better at that and stop saying so much like I just did like 3 times. But and staying natural. And yeah, the Dad Next Door show. You can go to Dad. Let me see. I have it going straight to the channel. The dadnextdoor.tv should take you right to the YouTube channel. And there I was going to do it before this show aired, but I'm going to do it hopefully today. I was going to actually transfer all the channel, the list of all the Airbnb side hustles. It's like 13 videos. They're all like 5 minutes, but I want to put them all over there so that they're easier to find. So hopefully if somebody they're
How
not
did
up right away.
you
I'm
make that?
sorry.
How did you make the link? Dadnextdoor.tv. What-
You just buy the URL and then take the channel that, like, YouTube makes a channel link. So when you advertise your YouTube, you could have it could be whatever. It's always some random. You can't customize it right away. You need like
Yeah,
at
a
least
ton of
100
different characters.
subscribers.
You're able to just route that YouTube channel link to the URL that you want.
Yeah. You got to go into your DNS on, like, I have Namecheap, so you got to go in there and do it the right way. But it'll go straight to the channel, or to the actually you want to go to the excuse me the playlist, not just the channel, the playlist.
Sure.
The playlist that it goes to right now is just the live show list, or the past show lists. And again, we're still catching up some of it, but 3 of them are on there. Three of the lives and one like kind of edited one. But once you subscribe, you can kind of go through the channel and look at what the other playlists are. And I'm going to make a playlist for these so that it'll be easy to find again. Because I have it in another YouTube channel, but I really kind of never did anything more with it than that. So I'm going to move them all over and kind of redo them. It might take me the day or so, but I'm going to probably get knocking on that. And then as for a dad joke, let me think. Oh,
One of these on tap. This is your expertise.
you're right. Do you know that we both know someone who was possessed by an owl?
I had no idea. Why do you say that?
Bastard, you messed it up.
Oh, who?
There you go. That was it. You suck. Now I have to pull another one out. No, I'll tell you one I told. This one I told. I was trying to get my daughter to tell my wife, but she wouldn't do it. But then this is good for like I have so many of them. I was working on one just actually before this, but it's yeah. Anyway, it wasn't ready. Why does the mermaid wear seashells?
Why?
Because she outgrew her bee shells.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So stuff like that. I have more on tap, but I normally I have to think about them for a second. I usually get inspired by like an environment or something, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that joke will work for that particular situation. So
I mean, that's what makes a dad joke what it is. It is in the
you
moment.
gotta be somewhere, and you're like, oh, that I could get the bear joke in, I could get the fish joke in, I could get See, the mermaid one. Yeah. So that's usually how they work.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too. And I've noticed you doing that with the ones that you throw up, just like here and there. They just kind of seem like they're in the moment. One other thing I wanted to ask you about while I have you is, I think I saw it on your clubhouse. Like you're trying to get 100 children adopted before you pass.
Yeah. So that story is I all right. So I have 6 kids. I mentioned that. Well, 5 of them are adopted. And that wasn't necessarily the plan, but that is what God had for me in mind. Let's just say it that way. And so along the way, when we got to the third, I want to say I got a tap on the shoulder by God and said, "You got to do more." Right now, when I say 100, I want to clarify something. I don't necessarily want to have 100 kids like with my last name living in my house because I would go crazy.
Sure, sure.
Although if somebody was like, "Hey, if you take 100 kids, we'll give you Disneyland," then I might think about it because then there's room. But the idea was I started to the path I went on. So I kind of sort of changed direction a little bit from just being into real estate and entrepreneurship, and decided that I wanted to inspire more dad entrepreneurs
Sure.
and help them in their business to to iron out some kinks, fix their systems, whatever way that they could get to the point where they were like actually feeling solid and secure in their business. And I have a lot of experience in different businesses, so I feel I have that to add, and I have done consultations for people. So I wanted to kind of channel it all towards one end, and it was to empower more dads to be secure and to make more money in their business, so that if they're ever considering adoption at all, and maybe it was an issue of like, hey, I just not financially prepared for that, kids cost a lot of money, but we've thought about it, but I didn't even know which way to go. Once they're in my circle having a conversation about what are the options for adoption and how you could get into that world, and then like through my influence help them adopt a kid. So if, for example, we're having this conversation now, 6 years from now, you get married, you can't have kids for whatever reason, you're like, oh, let me talk to Jason. And I kind of coach you through and tell you what happened with me and how you can kind of navigate the system, and you successfully do that, then I count the child that you were able to adopt on my ledger of 100. So I've been able to do that so far with not only my 5, but there was two friends of mine that adopted 3 between them, that I inspired them as well. So I got 8 now, and I'm looking to get to my 92 more or more before I die. So all this that I do, these podcasts, webinar, YouTube video, show, if I create a course, if I whatever I do, Clubhouse even, I want to be the person that like you remember to come back to that with, and you're successful enough to go and take that step, because it's not an easy step, and I help you through that so that I can help those 100 souls that I haven't made up yet. And that to me would be my legacy. It's like, I don't care about buildings, I don't care if they make a statue, I don't, that stuff fades, it gets knocked down. Good Lord, I could be a hero today and get be a villain 100 years from now, and they knock down a statue. Like, you never know. So your legacy is your children or the people you leave behind you. Really, that's how you become immortal. So they don't have to necessarily have your name or be attached to you, but at least I know, like, I did that, like I had a part in that. You know what I mean? So that, yeah, that's the mission, that's the journey to 100 that you're referring to. And yeah, I extend that to everybody, anybody who gets in my circle, anybody who gets to know about me, who becomes my friend, or we do business together, or I consult with. They'll always hear that story from me, because like a long tail keyword, it'll sit with you for a long time, hopefully, and then you'll come
And
back
it's
to it
a
later
super
on.
unique thing in the sense that like you're gonna be remembered for it. And when the time does come, there's really not anyone else in the space to go to for it. So
I
um,
hope
you
I
know,
hope that's what I accomplish. But even if it's not just that, the planting the seed, like Inception, you know what I mean?
yeah, I was about
That
to say you're planting a seed that it's not necessarily going to grow quick or going to be like right away to flourish, but you're going to be the seed that's there, and it'll get there.
that's what I want to do. I want to keep planting that seed. So everything that I do is towards that end. That's why everything's dad's pads and daddy and dad next door and da da da. It's not just because you'll remember it easier because that's part of it too, and that's branding and that's smart business. But that there's a little hidden gem behind that and a cause behind that that hopefully a person will resonate with, because you know as well as I do, you're like, you can do all the clever things you want to stick in people's mind, but it's that extra, I don't know, what do they call that? Business with a purpose, or that we want to do this. There's some change, there's something bigger than that person behind that that attaches you to them, because you might not like that person, you may be like, that guy's a jerk off, or um I don't really like his style, he talks too fast, whatever, he curses too much.
Sure.
But his mission, I can look past all that to that, and I can agree with them. I think that if people could even just, that's how you can look past politics. That's how you can look past looks, personality, you know, finances, everything. If you can get to the bigger thing. So I'm just trying to get to the big. I'm trying to get people focus people's eyes on the bigger thing. That's it.
And that's awesome. And I really think you're going to do it sooner than you think, just based on the number of seeds I'm sure you've planted already. And it's something you start later on. Like you take some credibility. You have to be a dad for a while to get that credibility. And it's not going to happen overnight. So the fact that you're at 8, whether it's even though 5 of them are yours, like that's a great start. And there's no better advocate than someone who's done it themselves. So it's really cool to see.
Exactly. You gotta be I don't want to say your own crash test dummy, but you have to show, you got to be the example. You have to be what you want in other people to be, because how they going to take authority? It's like 20-year-old kids becoming life coaches. It's like, come on, dude, you ain't even lived yet.
Right.
But they're trying, so how does that
Show
make
me your
sense?
money's where your mouth is, essentially.
Exactly. Like, I'm not telling you to do anything I won't do. I'm not saying you should take 5. You should take 5, but you know, you should take
You
more
can
than
say that. You can say that because you've done it.
yeah, I can say at least up to 5 because that's what I did. But I mean, 1 is cool, 2 is better, but get a set. That's what I'm saying. Just get at least 2, man. They like to be together. Don't make them lonely. But yeah, that's it. Just hopefully I can inspire people to do that past all the rough exterior and the crazy stories. Is that like, hey, yeah, there's a big old world out there of things you could be doing, and as you navigate and as you get to that place you want to be, that $1 million mansion or whatever, it's going to be empty without some kids. So just think
Yeah,
about
about to
it.
say, it's lonely at the top, and you do it all. You got to share it.
I'm going to tell you this. If you're a man and you don't have a daughter, you don't know what you're missing. Because there will be no love deeper and more pure than from a woman than that daughter, because they didn't bear you, so you weren't a pain to them growing up, and they didn't have to sleep next to you and hear you farting and snoring, so they don't see that side of you, or they might, but the point is, it's endearing to them. But the daughter will always have your back against all the other ones.
Sure.
If nothing more, that's a good reason to have a daughter. I mean, yeah, they're trouble too, don't get me wrong, and there's things with them, but the point is, like, having that loyalty, that ally that normally you won't get from the other sources. There's always a drama or something. The daughter is probably the purest form of love of a female that you're ever going to see, so I highly recommend it.
I'll keep that in mind, and I'm sure everyone else will as well.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that at some point.
Well, good. Keep me in the loop. um, it's funny, but when I started this, I didn't know where it was going to go, but now people are starting to hit me up. At least I want to say I'm averaging like one every 2 weeks, people having questions. So the ball is slowly rolling, which is good,
Yeah.
because it takes 2 years to even kind of get through the whole qualification system of it anyway. So the more
Yeah, that's what
that
to say.
now,
It's not an overnight thing. It's not like anyone wakes up and it's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do today.
yeah,
It
there's a
doesn't just
lot
out
to
of
it, man.
nowhere. It's something that has to ruminate and just keep moving in their head until it's time to pull the trigger. And you're definitely a big part of that.
One other thing I discovered along the way that people don't know is, and this is why real estate is so important, real estate investors, there was something that I didn't realize till I was facing it, and I didn't know why I chose not to do it, but I learned later. And that is this: you can't foster to adopt or adopt a kid if you have a foreclosure or a bankruptcy on your record, because they don't see you as a viable, like a reliable source for that child.
Sure.
So all the people that thought it was cool to go be bankrupt real quick and do that a few times are cut off from that. I mean, I don't know if that count. I think that counts just domestically. I mean, if you go overseas, I don't know what the rules are for that, but um same thing with foreclosures. I mean, if you're a hard head and you have a property that you don't want to sell because you feel like you're not getting the dollars you deserve, you rather get a short sale than a foreclosure. Because if you get that foreclosure, you're not gonna have that opportunity to choose. It's crazy how these things that don't seem related are actually hooked into that. But yeah, it's true.
And those are big things to keep in mind. A lot of people forget that that could be a factor.
Well, they don't know that. They're just swimming and trying to survive. But I was faced in like 2000 and I want to say seven, more than seven, about 8 years ago, I was faced with that dilemma, like, because I had properties that were upside down and, squatters and all these war stories I'm telling you came from that experience. And everybody was saying bankruptcy, just do bankruptcy, man. You'll be fine. And like, your credit be sweet and all that. I'm like, no, I can't do it, man. There's something telling me not to do it. Don't. So I fought my way through it and I learned a lot of tricks dealing with foreclosures and short sales during that process. I can't give myself credit for all of that. It was definitely God and the people I had around me. But I didn't take that step, and then I found out later, after we were pretty much through it all, that had I chose that path to do the bankruptcy, that we would have never been able to adopt. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean that worked out in the way that you needed it to, for sure.
yeah.
Um,
But
and
trust me when I tell you, I was entertaining it and entertaining it, and I was like, yeah, the easy way out, the easy way out. But I took the long road, and I took the patient way out, and then just worked it out, and fought fought with two hands. Lawyers on one side and banks on the other, and they're all not making any sense. But like I said, it wasn't just me. So yeah.
yeah, and
Hopefully somebody watched this and maybe they just got that from it. But like that would be the best piece of advice to anybody if they were thinking about that. Is like, don't don't let them foreclose and don't do bankruptcy. Just find a way out.
right. And I think a lot of people will take the easy way out, like you said, but they don't understand the repercussions of having that go on your record for, I think it's 7 years that lasts at least.
Well, your credit is banged for 7 years, even on a short sale, but you're not. It's not a foreclosure. Short sale is different. Doesn't resonate the same. You'll your credit will be messed up a little bit, but if you're into real estate, there's lots of creative ways to get around that. It's a pain, but I did it. So yeah.
Right. Hey, you lead by example on that too. That's awesome. It's
Mhm.
awesome to hear. Well, I mean, we've spent a lot of time today, and I appreciate you coming on. You have a lot of good tidbits that I think everyone will appreciate. So I'm excited to share some of this stuff. I'm gonna hit you with a dad joke, and then we can call it. Uh,
Better
this is
be
one
good.
one I've been using for a while. I don't know if you've heard it before, but what is brown and sticky?
Oh, yeah, I know this one. Should I do it, or I'll let you do the reveal because this is one of my faves. Go ahead.
A stick.
I'm gonna hit you with one because it's a Philly joke. It's a
Sure.
version of that. What's red and bad for your teeth?
Uh, what?
A brick. And that has a lot of meanings and different. And there's different levels to that joke, especially if you're from Kensington.
That's a great one.
Yeah, but that's like one of my real estate jokes. I was just, I don't know, who Ron LeGrand is, but I hit him with that one. And he was like, "What?" And then he got it a little bit later. Yeah, he's like a real estate guru from back in the day. But yeah,
That's good. I
I,
feel like you've gotten a lot of opportunities to throw these dad jokes out to some pretty good people.
yeah, like I said, just build up your ammo and just have a few ready. Not a problem. Good conversation starter or finisher.
Sure.
They work both ways. You're gonna get rid of someone, you hit them with a real bomb, and they're like, "All right, I'm out. Peace out."
That's perfect. Well, thanks again for coming on today, and sharing all
My
your wisdom.
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And say hi to your buddy Scott for me if you haven't yet. And let's keep in touch, man. Just let me know how it goes, and you know who to hit up when you're having them kind of questions
Yeah,
about adoption or whatever. All right.
yeah. I definitely will. That there's no other person I'd have in mind for that. So, um,
Cool.
we'll get there.
If I
It's
get back to if I get back to Philly anytime soon, I'm gonna hit you up for a ride in that Tesla.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah, they're
definitely
fun. They're fun.
just promise to use my affiliate link if you decide to get one yourself.
All right. Yeah. I mean, why not? I didn't even know you could do it. So I did. I have considered it. I just don't know if I want that or like something more classic. But test like it's like this with me. It's like, which one? Which one? I don't know yet. I don't even drive that much anymore, so it's kind of like oh, I don't even need it. I rock the minivan right now because my wife takes my Suburban, and I just rock out with it. It's not a soccer mom. It's the baseball dad van, I guess. I don't know. I want to pimp it out though. It's like an old like an Odyssey. I want to put like flames on it and like more dings and dents and just call it like the data van or catavan or something like that. Just something goofy. But I can't find I can't find it in me to pay the money to go and pimp out an old
Yeah, to
older
put a wrap on an Odyssey
yeah.
is a tough.
It would be yeah, you know, if I hit the lottery, I would do it out of like just to make myself laugh. But right now, it's like money could be spent on better things than that. But it'd be funny to me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And ironically, I have a Dodge Caravan, a 2008 Dodge Caravan, and that's what I use when the Tesla is rented out on Turo. Is my backup is the soccer mom van. Um,
I, I got in a car chase once in a Dodge Caravan, and it performed very well. It actually went over curbs pretty decent. We lost those guys. Just letting you know. I have a soft spot in my heart for Dodge Caravans. That was back in my little dirty doing days, more like. But that's my Dodge Caravan story.
uh,
And
I'll have
selling
to keep
speakers
that in
out of
mind next time I'm on the run.
it. Yeah, man. All right, bro. Thanks for the interview, and hope you get some traffic off this joint. This
Yeah,
John. That's a Philly. That's the Philly thing.
that's the best way to put it. And worst case, no traffic. I still learned a lot today, and I appreciate everything.
All right. Well, cool. Glad I was there to help. Well, guess that's it. You said your dad joke, I said mine, and that's
That's the
it.
best way to leave it. That's it.
Do I give you a kiss on the cheek now? How do we end this?
You're not my
Squeeze your
grandma.
butt? Like, how does this go?
Oh, we'll let him figure it out. I feel like if I send it over to the editor, he'll end with the dad joke.
All
It is
right.
fun.
All right.
But thanks, Jason. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk soon then.
See ya.
All right.